This is the split stance full body realignment starting from your feet. So the first thing we need to do for our feet is to get it to flatten out. So when the foot flattens out, everything will start to kind of fall into its respectful place. So if I bring my knee forward and my foot flattens, you will find that my knee comes in a little bit, my pelvis will roll down a bit, my chest will come up a bit, and you could even see that my shoulders start to drop a bit if we're getting some good foot movement here. But if our foot's really stiff, we might not have everything fall in the right place and things can feel pretty funky, or we start having forces trapped in certain areas of our body. But all of that can stem from the foot. And if we can get the foot to move properly, everything else might have the chance to be able to fall in this respectful place. So a little bit of knowledge on the foot. When the knee drives forward in space, what we want to see is a flattening of that foot. Most of us do not actually get a flattening of the foot. What we might get is maybe just like a tipping over of the foot. So a tipping over is not the same as a flat. So what happens mechanically to the foot when we start to flatten it out? As the knee drives forward, this heel bone should be able to roll down. And when this heel bone rolls down, the forefoot here, they're going to start to come down towards the ground as the shin bones start to rotate in a little bit. So we're creating this little spreading open effect. If I would exaggerate it, it looks something like this. Right? Spreading open, stretching all the way around the arch right here. Okay? So mechanically, this is what we're looking for, and this is how we're going to do it in an exercise. So you place one foot in front. And now I want you to go ahead and let your knee drive the motion, and the hip is going to come afterwards, maybe like maybe like a half-second delay. So the knee comes first, and as the knee drives forward, you can encourage that knee to drift a little bit inward towards the big toe so the foot flattens out. And as your hip comes afterwards, it's going to give you this little bit of a tip downwards, and it's going to draw your chest up. Slowly. And when you do this, make sure you can feel your heel. Remember how we want this heel bone to tip downward? If we go forward and we lose contact of the heel, then it's not going to go ahead and tip. We're going to lose that movement in that foot. So stay heavy on your heel and let your knee drive first. Your knee comes forward, and see how my hips stay back, and then my hips start to come after? And it'll just kind of tip over, and your back starts to arch. But it should start to arch naturally. Like, you don't want to crank it and force it to arch, just letting it go. Stay heavy on the heel, bring your knee forward, and the hips follow after. Very important that you look straight ahead. If you look down, your rib's going to come down and you're not going to get the same motion. You might just start coming this way with everything tucked, and that's not really the point. Heavy on the heel, as you go forward, the chest comes up. From the front, heavy on the heel, knee shift forward first, pelvic rolls down, like so. The next step from here, you can do the same thing, but throw your arms up in the air to encourage a little bit of this rib cage motion. Now when the rib cage move, it's also going to help connect with the pelvis here. So you can go same thing, knee shift forward, and just reach. Reach. Now, once this feels good, you're gonna start reaching with the opposite arm. So make sure when you reach, you're reaching with the shoulder blade. You're not just going like that. You're actually reaching forward. Reaching forward and up. You see how when I reach up with this shoulder drops automatically. And we're lined up from the nose, sternum, knee, and foot. Okay. Now, if you're having trouble getting the foot to move, you can start with putting a little wedge on the heel. Stay heavy on the heel. The wedge is going to encourage the heel bone to drop down even more. Stay heavy on that wedge. And repeat the same move. And you can also have a black wedge on the forefoot at a slight angle to encourage a little bit more of the forefoot to flatten out. Now do what feels right for your body. Sometimes you only want the heel wedge, sometimes you might only want the forefoot wedge. That really depends on your specific foot shape that you currently have. These are just two wedge positions I find to be the most popular for the majority of body types, but you can have a different style of wedging that will work better for you. Same thing, knee first, hips come after, chest up.